So first of all, I will say that this car has been very, very reliable. Still looks fresh and clean. Right, so we'll see if the same issue, so reduce engine oil comes up. Yeah, I'll start driving, and then as soon as we start driving for about 2 minutes or so. So here she is. Still looks beautiful, but as you can see, we had to get the Trickle charger firing because the battery was low. So you can see, still looks fresh and clean. As we jump in, we'll see what happens here. Take my backpack off. Right, so we'll see if the same issue, so reduce engine oil comes up, then it disappears typically, and then the car seems normal. So you think, it's okay, and then as soon as I start driving, let's say about a couple of minutes in, everything changes very quickly. I start driving, see if we can get some light going here. Yeah, I'll start driving, and then as soon as we start driving for about 2 minutes or so, then these other lights start coming on, and I'll put some screenshots on the screen so you can see the ones that I'm talking about. And so yeah, it's just been pretty frustrating because she's been sat here for a while now, hasn't been used, just been on the Trickle charger, making sure that the battery stays conditioned. Aston Martin are set to be coming in a couple of weeks to come and pick her up, take her and get her sorted out. So it's not been ideal. Let me turn her off and I'll show you the other challenge that I've been dealing with. So it wasn't very well recently, and I'll talk about this when I go up to my apartment, but it meant that she got a bit of a graze here. It's not actually as bad as it looks, but it's going to be repaired very shortly. So that's the current situation with the car, but I'll go up to my apartment and explain in a bit more detail everything that's gone on so far. Okay, back in the apartment now. So let me tell you a bit more about what's happened with this Aston here. So first of all, I will say that this car has been very, very reliable for pretty much the whole time I've had it. I haven't really had any issues. I was trying to think back. No, it served me well. It's been a great car. It's given me incredible memories up until this point. And it's crazy to think that I've had her for almost a year now. So this issue, it just came about completely randomly, to be fair. It hasn't necessarily made itself feel like a major issue because I was still able to drive the car around. I even took it out very briefly the other day because someone said on a forum that a lot of this can just be electrical. And so they said if you stop the car, turn it off, get out, open the door, and then close the door, something like that, that they had the same issue and it disappeared. And when I spoke to Aston Martin, they also just suspected it was an electrical challenge, and that's why, as you can see, it's been on the Trickle charger, drove it around a little bit, but those lights still seem to come up if I drive for a couple of minutes or so. So now it's just on the Trickle. As mentioned just now, Aston Martin are gonna come and collect the car in about 2 weeks' time. So a little bit frustrating in terms of the timeline, but they're just completely snowed under with work at the moment. And then I need to get that little niggle at the front done. And the reason that happened, which is crazy, I mean, I've had 14 cars, never had an accident, but for one very minor one when I was a teenager, but it was almost nothing. And outside of that, as I say, I've never hit any of my, any of my supercars, any of the main cars I've had. And I got a really bad virus a few weeks ago. I was probably one of the worst I've been. I mean, the virus wasn't actually the worst I've been, but I was not feeling good at all. And then I caught an after viral infection, something called labyrinthitis. Never had this before in my life, but it was one of the most debilitating things that I've ever had, because it's in essence an ear infection, and so it affects the way that your ear, basically my ear's inflamed, and then it impacts how everything communicates with my brain. And so what it meant was I was constantly just dizzy and lightheaded all of the time. I pretty much didn't come out my apartment because just walking around was really difficult. I could not really walk around steady. I couldn't really work out. I just did not feel good at all. It was a really debilitating thing to have. And when I had it, I needed to move my car to get it on the Trickle charger, because only certain spaces have power. So while I had it, I went downstairs to move the car, and because I had the labyrinthitis and I was trying to act like I was okay, I ended up scraping it in the car park. That's what's crazy. I didn't even take the car out on the road. I literally just had to move from one space to another, but my brain couldn't register distance, and I was so unbalanced that just trying to move it from one space to another, I ended up scraping the front. I could not believe it. Super frustrating, but it is what it is, you know. We'll get it done and we'll get it dealt with. So overall, I'm sure the car will be fine. There's nothing that anyone's alarmed about. It just needs to get taken to the workshop, needs to go and get handled and adjusted, and it needs a service and it needs an MOT. So I'm just gonna get everything done at once. And then it's definitely made me think more and more about, is this time to consider some form of change? But not sure yet. As I say, it's been a great car, love it, color's incredible, gets great looks and a ton of compliments, and makes me feel good inside as well. So we'll see what comes next. I will keep you guys updated, and I will see you on the next video.